Thanks for stopping by, GF Explorers. Today we're talking about all of the stuff you need to outfit your rig. We've been buying it over the last few months, and boy, is there a lot of it.
Oh yeah. So late last year, we put a list together of the things that we have to have on day one to actually live in the rig and function, and then a list of might wants that we have an inkling that we're going to want, but we don't want to buy them until we're actually in the rig and living in the rig, because we really don't want to buy stuff we don't need. We may think when we're not living in the rig now, oh, that would be cool, let's get that, and then we get in the rig and we start living and go, what were we thinking? We didn't need this. So we're trying to avoid that scenario. So we broke the list up into interior and exterior, and then the exterior has a few, many categories. The interior is probably the easiest one, and we're going to talk about that first. The great news about the interior is almost everything that's going in it that we're going to be using, we already have in our house right now. Now, yeah, we're probably going to buy some new towels, a rug for the bathroom, things like that. But all the kitchen stuff is coming with us, the bathroom stuff coming with us, bedroom stuff. So there's not a ton that we have to buy specifically for the rig, except for the bed. Because I have heard that
all RV mattresses suck. I don't care what level of rig you buy, how expensive, paying for upgrades, pretty much all RV mattresses suck.
So given that, and the huge desire to have a great night's sleep every night, we're going to get a memory foam pad. I'm hoping like 4 inches thick. That should do the trick. And then for the bedding, I've seen quite a few other full-time RVers and just other RVers use the Beddies system, where you just zipper off the comforter and it goes onto the mattress with a like a fitted sheet does. So I'm really excited about those. I think we're going to go in that direction. And if you have any experience with Beddies, let us know in the comments below. If you like them, hate them, anything you got, I'm looking for all the advice I can get on the bedding. And then I think the only other thing we really have to buy, and we learned this from all the other full-time RVers, is a Berkey water system. I think they're so cute, the little travel Berkeys. And it's important to have, fresh filtered water rather than, we really don't want to use water bottles all the time, just buying tons and tons of water. So the Berkey and the bedding, the 2 Bs, are the most important things. Now, I know that once I get in the rig, I've got to organize the kitchen, the bathroom, organize everything. And that I can't do until I actually physically am in the rig, I can see the space, and then there's going to be a bunch of stuff I'm going to have to buy for that. And then I plan on doing a full video of all the organizational things that we've done in the inside of the rig once we've done it and actually lived with it and see if it actually works.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that.
There are a few might wants we already have identified for the interior. The recliners and the love seat that remains across from the desk. We're not sure how that's going to work with us, but we're going to be in the rig and live in it to see for sure, and then we can make our decision.
Yeah, and we've heard some definite quality issues about RV furniture too. It looks nice when you bring your RV home, but we heard it degrades really, really quickly. So I guess with that, time will tell.
Yes, and we might want to change it up for something else. And the other big thing I think we decided about the interior is the decor. We don't really want to buy anything before we're in the rig and we're living it and we're feeling the space. And then I feel like we'll know what we want. Well, what kind of rug, what kind of, wall hangings, things like that. Do we want house plants? Do we want to try to not kill house plants? Things like that.
Right.
So really the interior is pretty, didn't have to buy a lot of stuff for that. But the exterior, that's a completely different story.
All right, when we're talking about the exterior of the rig, there's a lot to talk about, and that seems to be where most of the equipment buying is.
Yes, this lovely scarf I have here, I think would make a great sewer hose.
Let's be clear, that needs to be the only time that sewer hose ever needs to be around your neck.
Agreed, yes.
So with that, let's start basically where everything ends
up.
Let's talk about sanitation, which is really the best word I can think of.
It's the most sanitized word.
Yeah, it's the most sanitized word. Let's start with sanitation. And most of the things here really are must-haves day one. There really is no wants when it comes to getting rid of things. So sewer hose is number one. We've got 2 10-foot section of hose. We think that's going to be enough when we start out. Support stands to support the sewer hose. And interestingly enough, a lot of campgrounds now are requiring that you don't have sewer hoses on the ground, that you actually have a support system for the sewer hose. Connections, clear connections so you can see your stuff going out. Knowing when everything's fully drained is very important. And of course, the things you need, gloves, cleaning supplies, black tank treatment, and of course, TP.
Oh yeah,
You got to have the proper toilet paper for your system to keep things running good. So as far as sanitation goes, we are ready to rock and roll.
we are all set, and I cannot wait for the first dump.
So along with sanitation comes fresh water. You need fresh water to be able to run your sanitation system. So once again, a lot of the things here are needs day one, not wants, although I do have a big want we'll talk about in a minute. But of course, hoses is number one. And we divide that up between your water hose, which we have a blue one here, and an auxiliary hose to be able to wash your rig, do various things, wash things off, rinse out your tanks, things like that. We don't have that stuff yet, but that'll be coming along. And then there's other accessories that you need that we feel are needs, not wants. Some people may beg to differ, but the first one Victoria has in her hand, and I think that's a water pressure regulator. When I full-time in the past, there was a crazy amount of difference between pressures at different parks. Not only low pressure, but too high pressure as well. So we got ourselves an adjustable pressure regulator to be able to adjust the pressure up if we needed. And I think it's hugely important to protect the pipes in the rig that we're spending so much money on. Other things such as splitters and adapters so you can put both your hoses on the same spigot at one time. Those are important as well. And then simple filtration, which comes with the rig, such as that little blue canister that hooks directly to the water hose that you have to replace every couple months, or a single filter system that comes installed on the rig. And that leads me to the one thing in this area that I think we want, but we'll know for sure when we get on the road. And that's a clear source filtration system. It's a 3-filter system that goes down to, gosh, I don't know, like 5 microns or something like that. Kills viruses. I mean, it's a pretty complex system. It's one that can be mobile, but most likely you install in your rig. And that's one thing that I think we would look at as a want for the future once we get out on the road, because we're going to get tired replacing those little blue canisters every couple of months.
Oh, I'm sure, and we're going to want the added protection that filtration system will give us. But I mean, do we have to have it to live in the rig? No. Again, it's a might want. I think it's a must want.
Probably. So now let's talk about electrical systems. You got to be able to get power to your rig. And there's really 2 separate electrical systems on any RV, and that's the AC side and the DC side. So if we start over with the AC side, or the electrical current, you got to be able to get it to your rig. So of course you're going to need cords, 50 amp cords, regular household extension cords, dog bones like Victoria has in her hand to be able to convert. If you have a 50 amp power cord, you need to go down to 30 amp for some campgrounds, so you got to be able to do all of those things. And of course, who can forget fuses? You're always going to be blowing fuses, so we have spare fuses. One thing that can keep you from blowing fuses, and is hugely important that we haven't made a decision on yet, is a surge protector. I think it's one of the most key components that you can buy for your RV to protect your investment. So if you have a suggestion for a great surge protector, please leave it in the comments down below, because I'm doing some shopping around right now and having a hard time really deciding what the best option is for us, but it's something that's at the top of the list in terms of electrical. Now, on the DC side of things, we have a residential refrigerator, which is great when you're connected to shore power, but can cause a problem on travel days when you're running off battery power. We do have a small inverter that is wired to that refrigerator directly, but the rig only comes with 1 lead acid battery, and I don't even think that battery could run the fridge for a day.
Probably not. No.
So we're definitely going to have to look at a lithium battery upgrade. I want to do that because you can use 100% of the power within a lithium battery. Lead acid battery, you can only use 50% of the power that's there until you have to start charging it or risk damaging the battery. And that leads us to the big want, but we don't know how we're going to live in the rig, and that is a solar system. So a solar system is a definite want for us. You can spend $5,000 on an intro solar system. You could go up to $20,000 and beyond. So we have no idea how we're going to live on the road. We do know one thing. Our first 6 months are primarily in full hookup campgrounds.
We have one night that's at the Harvest Host so far in everything I booked through January.
So we are working full-time running a business in the rig. So to start out with, we are committing to full hookup campgrounds to be able to run our business. Now, as we get more comfortable on the road, things will start to change. We'll probably want to start some boondocking and get away from people.
Well, yeah, I think we would like to change it up, but we have no idea. So that's what's great about this is we're going to go out, we're going to live, we're going to figure it out. We're going to know what we like, what we don't like. And you never know, we might be like getting a solar system within the first 2 or 3 months because we're like, no, give me some more boondocking.
Exactly. Now, one thing we're waiting till we get on the road, but I feel is very important, and that is a backup generator.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
I would say that would be more of a need now. I think you need that peace of mind going out that if at any time you need to generate some power, you could. So I would probably put that on the need going out list.
So one of the things to consider with a backup generator, we have a diesel truck that we're pulling our rig with. So I really don't like the idea of having to carry fuel for a generator. So one of the options for us would for sure be a propane generator with a quick connect on our propane system. So when we do need a generator, especially until we get a solar upgrade, we need to recharge batteries. You can always just pull a generator out, hook it directly to propane, and create some power for the rig.
I think I'd feel more comfortable with that.
So now this last portion, which I really didn't know how to categorize, so I'm just going to call it the chassis. So it's things like leveling blocks, wheel chocks, and then other things like a TPMS system, so you know while you're traveling what your air pressures are, because that is the biggest indicator of a blowout, is a loss of pressure or extremely high temperatures in your tires. Hugely important to know that thing live, real time while you're traveling down the road. And next would be an air compressor. Every time you're going to head out on the road, you're going to check your tire pressures. You need to have your own system to be able to bring all your tires up to the proper PSI. So for sure, an air compressor is on the list. And again, if you have your favorites, let us know in the comments down below. This and anything that you have that's your favorite for all of these different things. We'd love to hear your comments and what works well for you. And then probably the big want here are what I've seen on the internet called X-chocks. And that's the things that you kind of put in between your dual axles to lock the rig down. And I've seen a wonderful set, I believe it is called X-chocks. And you can use an impact wrench to open and close them directly on your tires, which is a fantastic want.
And there's one really important thing that is a need, but it's going to be like a cool little toy for me too. Do you know what that is? The walkie-talkie.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'm just going to get on there and go, hey, move to the left, move to the right.
Yeah.
He's like, your left, my right. I said, oh, we need to figure this out. Yeah.
We'll figure that out by the time we get on the road.
It's going to be fun.
So for sure, super important to have that communication when you're backing up and you're moving the rig around. Now, some of you out there might say, you both have cell phones, right? Yes, we do have cell phones. But if we're in an area where we're having trouble with cell phone signals, that sort of thing, we need to be able to communicate. So we're just going to go the walkie-talkie route. So now let's talk about the fun part. The patio.
Yes, the patio. We're going to spend a lot of time out there.
The important part.
Yeah, the very important part. Again, the patio is someplace we're going to get out on the road and live a while before we make any big decisions. The one thing that I think is a must-have on day one is a rug to put down so that we can, have it in our area. As far as chairs, we have some outdoor chairs we're going to bring with us. So the might wants are maybe some zero gravity chairs or something a little bit nicer, but don't have to have them right away because we don't know how we're going to live, how long we're going to sit out there. Do we want to recline? Do we want to put our feet up? We have no idea what to expect.
And there's some really, really cool chairs out there too.
Yes.
And some of them can get very expensive. So when we meet you on the road, if you have cool chairs, we want to try them out.
Yeah, we'll feed you. We'll feed you if you let us sit in your chairs. We promise.
Speaking of feeding people, so the second half of our channel is a cooking channel. And that means we need an outdoor kitchen.
Yes, we do.
And lots of outdoor kitchen supplies. Now we have most of our stuff for our outdoor kitchen ready to go. We have a prep table. We have a stainless steel table to handle the heat for our grill. Our Bertello pizza oven, which I can't wait to do some outdoor cooking in that, as well as our Blackstone grill. But you know what the big want for the outdoor kitchen is, for me at least?
Oh, no, for me too, because that means bacon. So yes,
Okay,
I know.
and that's a smoker. So another request for all of you out there already on the road. What smoker are you using? I've started doing some initial research to find out a nice, small, portable smoker that's still gonna do a good job for us. So if you've got a suggestion on that, I would love to hear it.
And we forgot a couple important ones for the outside too. One are the awning screens, which I think are so cool that they create a nice separation. I'm sure for all the bugs that don't know better, they run right into the screen and maybe you would get protected a little bit. I seriously doubt that. It's more of a separation. I think those are definitely not a need, they are a want. And then of course, a solo stove.
Oh yeah, how could I forget that?
I know, I kind of want to say that's a want, it's a need, we have to have it, but no, it's a want. We're gonna get on the road, see how we live. Maybe we'll find ourselves in possession of one at some point. I think that's everything on the inside and the outside. The one thing I didn't mention was our office setup. So I have an office, and Rich, even though he's a little bit more mobile, he has a whole setup. And once we get in the rig, we work with it for, I don't know, a month or so. We're gonna create a video just all about our office setup and how it's working and what we discovered in that process.
And there's one last thing we didn't cover, and that is everything to do with our tow vehicle, the truck, which we have named Stella. And Stella will be here in a couple of weeks, and we're going to do a completely separate video on the tow vehicle, do a walk around the truck, and everything that's involved in towing your rig, including a hitch, which we do have on the way now. We can at least cover that much of it. We went with the B&W companion hitch, 25,000 pound hitch to go in the back of the truck. That's not the weight of the hitch, by the way. That's
no, that would be a little
how much
excessive.
it can handle. And so we will do a completely separate video on everything regarding the tow vehicle.
Well, I think we've covered as much as we can. We've tried to be think about all the things that we need on day one. Again, if we missed anything, and put it in the comments below. Let us know. Save us from ourselves if that's what's needed. And thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We'd love that. And if you like this video, hit the like button and give us a thumbs up. And until next time, happy exploring.